Finally, we're back in the saddle again. That's right. It's another episode of the Outlaw of College Football live stream edition. I might start doing this every Sunday until the football season starts, and then I might do it every Sunday during football season too. Sunday's always a good day, it seems like, to get some folks up in here and talk some college football because I know y'all about like me. The ones of y'all that are real loyal to this channel, I know y'all somewhat like me in the fact that you really, really love college football to the degree that you're already having withdrawal symptoms. And it's just April, right? Already we got in here Sooner Legends Podcast. Yep, a long time no see, Sooner Legends Podcast. I hope everything's all right with you. We had scheduled a live stream with Sooner Legends Podcast, but he had to cancel that because he had some family matters. I hope everything's all right on your end. But we got a few topics we're going to talk about today in here. And later on in the show, if y'all want to, just send me your email, or if you decide you want to be on here, just let me know, and I'll bring you on the show for a few minutes. I might start doing a little 5-10 minute intervals for everybody so the common Joes and common Sal's in the know, even more so than all the media talking heads, can be a part of the show and give their opinion face to face. Eric Taco Marino's also in the house. Thunder OU Center, as always, never misses a show. Thunder OU Center, he's got perfect attendance. Thunder OU Center should be on the show sometimes. If, of course, you're not, camera shy. A lot of people don't like the camera. So I can completely understand that. Fred Bagley just now run up in here as well. He's up in here with his badge on, as well as Sooners Legends Podcast. They all got their badge. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the transfer portal today as it's fast approaching, as well as the top 15 odds for the national championship, as posted by US Today Sports. Pretty interesting list to me. Some of them I agree with, some of them I completely disagree with. But I'd like to get you guys and gals' take on that. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to bring that up here in just a second. Carvin OK is also in the house. Appreciate you, Carvin. All right, so let's get this going. Now that we've had our little introduction here and said hello once again, I'm going to bring this up for y'all. What this is right here, what I'm bringing up for you guys and gals, is the top 15 odds for the national championship in 2024. That's actually called the way too early odds, but these are the odds as posted by Las Vegas as of today, April. I guess this is what, the 14th? So let's take a look at this real quick. If I can get it to pop up for you. Number one, of course, is the Georgia Bulldogs. The Georgia Bulldogs, it says, has the best odds to win the national championship this year. It says Georgia had FanDuel odds at plus 300. They were 13-1 last year. It says Georgia, by their incredibly high standards, failed to reach the college football playoffs just a year after winning back-to-back titles, thanks to my team, Alabama. No three-peat. It's never been a three-peat in college football. And thanks to my team, Alabama, y'all can thank us for saving y'all from having to hear the hedge pissers. I mean, you would have never heard the end of it from the hedge pissers if they had been the first team to ever three-peat. They say it's going to be the revenge tour. They've said that before, and, of course, they always choke up when it comes to Alabama because they've lost 8 out of the last 9 games to Alabama. People forget that. Every time they lose talent, they just seem to reload. It says year after year all the credit goes to future Hall of Fame head coach Kirby Smart. That's number one. So who's number 2? Let's see what we got here. Number 2 is those Ohio Stank Buckeyes are number 2 as the betting odds to win next year's national championship. It says here that they were 11-2 last year. FanDuel odds have them at plus 450. It says I'll keep this short and sweet. If Ohio Stank head coach Ryan Day can finally beat Michigan, and that's a big if. Expect the Buckeyes and freshman phenom wide receiver Jeremiah Smith to light up the scoreboard on a weekly basis to earn a playoff berth. So those are the top two out the gate as far as the odds go. Of course, those are Captain Obvious. We all knew that shit was coming. We already knew it was going to be a variation of Georgia and Ohio Stank, or Ohio Stank and Georgia, right? We all sort of knew that going into this, right? I know I did. All right. Now, number 3 is the Oklahoma people's favorite. The Texas Long Turds are number 3 as far as the team with the best odds to win the national championship next year. They had a 12-2 record last year. FanDuel odds have them at a plus 700. Texas may be back, but let's wait and see what happens after the program's first season in the SEC. Quarterback Quinn Ewers possesses most of the traits needed to win a championship, coupled with an O-line, protections, and solid run game. But last season's trip to the playoffs wasn't just based on Ewers. It is what they are saying here on USA Today Sports. So, who's number 4? We'll see. Number 4 is those Oregon Ducks. The Oregon Ducks have the 4th best odds to win the national championship next year. They have a plus 850. Says, yes, I can get on board with these odds. Oregon head coach Dan Lanning may have lost quarterback Bo Nix to the draft, but immediately gained 2 talented quarterbacks from the transfer portal, and Dylan Gabriel and Dante Moore, that will compete for the starting spot this fall. The offense is loaded, and the defense honestly just needs to be good enough in 2024. And I've heard that before, and then, of course, people lose ball games, right? Number 5 is the Alabama Crimson Tide. Has the 5th best odds to win the national championship, according to FanDuel Sports. FanDuel odds have the Crimson Tide at plus 1,300. Hall of Fame Alabama head coach Nick Saban retired, and former head coach Kalen DeBoer is now the head honcho for the first time in a decade. Blah, 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 blah. We all know what they're going to say from there on out. But I didn't expect my team to get this much respect the first year that Nick Saban was gone, but it's about where I would put them. And I'm not saying that because I'm an Alabama fan, but I don't think Alabama's going to slip as quickly as some people think. Now, down the road, 3 years, 4 years down the road, once the infrastructure that Nick Saban has built has time to take an impact in what Kalen DeBoer is trying to do in his regime, maybe you'll see some slippage. Maybe you won't, because Kalen DeBoer, after all, does have a 104-12 record as a head football coach, which I think is a lot better than most coaches in their first 116 games, right? And let's look at some comments real quick before we move on to the next 10, with the top 15 odds for the national championship. We've already seen who their top 5 is. Senator Ross says Ohio stank and Texas can suck it. That's what Senator Ross says. Don't believe me? Right there it is. That Christian Fam channel's in the house. He has his badge. He's deputized. By the way, you'll see people in here with a badge. They're deputized. They're in the Outlaw Posse. On the actual podcast, they get a random 4 horseman shout out as possibly being the comment of the day. And they get deputized and get their badge, and it's not but $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. All you got to do is hit the join button over next to the subscribe button. Subscribing and joining the channel are 2 different things. So subscribing is free. So please get everybody to subscribe that you can, because that helps me with YouTube's algorithm. So that's the first 5 so far, the top 15 odds to win the national championship. So we went through that. Number 1 was, let's refresh this real quick for those of y'all just joining. Number 1 was Georgia. Number 2 was Ohio Stank. Number 3 was the Texas Longhorns. Number 4 was the Oregon Ducks. And number 5 is Alabama for the best odds to win this year's national championship. Number 6 is those LSU Fighting Tigers from the Bayou. Coming in number 6 is LSU for the 6th best odds in winning the national championship in 2024. They have a plus 1,500. Honestly, they'll need to prove it in October and November before the odds can be taken seriously. With Heisman winning quarterback Jaden Daniels off to the NFL, new starting quarterback Garrett Nussmeier has shown flashes, but doesn't have or possess the it factor needed to carry LSU in 2024. Oh, and the Tigers will also lose both starting wide receivers and Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas also gone. This is one that I actually disagree with. Our boy Big Cojones Kelly probably won't disagree with this one. But I think LSU, with all the losses they had on offense, I think 6 is a little high for LSU. I would even struggle to put LSU in the top 15, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion, though. Carvin OK says, Oklahoma will two-peat on Texas. Think Sooners going to beat those long turds 2 years in a row, do you, Carvin? Well, I think a lot of long turds would disagree with you post haste. Now, who's got the 7th best odds to win the national championship? Number 7. Well, that's not number 7. Number 7 right here. Number 7 is the Ole Miss Rebels. That's a surprise, too, to me. While Ole Miss has been doing really well under Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss is the 7th best team to possibly win the national championship. It says here their FanDuel odds are also a plus 1,500. Once again, they say they can roll these odds for what should be the deepest team that head coach Lane Kiffin has had during his tenure at Ole Miss, owning the transfer portal once again, landing several plug-and-play starters, including former Texas A&M defensive lineman Walter Nolan. Now, I'm not a big fan of all this hype about, so-and-so did so great in the transfer portal, because if these players were so great, they wouldn't be in the transfer portal. They'd be starting for their original team that they chose. So what makes you think they're going to do anything at your university? Because they were a 5-star coming out of high school? Obviously, that 5-star didn't translate to them starting for their first choice. What makes you think they're going to be able to start for their second choice? I'm just saying. Transfer portal players, 70% of them to me don't work out. Lance Flores says, hurry up and get to OU. Well, I ain't seen OU on here yet, Lance. But we're going down the list. Maybe they're in the top 15. Maybe they're not. We shall see as far as odds to win the national championship next year. Y'all already seen number 8. I sort of give it away, didn't I? Number 8 is the defending national champions. Your defending national champions, the Michigan Wolverines, have the 8th best odds to win the national championship. They have a plus 2,000 FanDuel odds after finally winning the national championship with Michigan after several years of coming painfully close. Now, former head coach Jim Harbaugh has transitioned to the Los Angeles Chargers with starting quarterback J.J. McCarthy projected as a first-round pick. Yada, yada, yada. And they got a brand new coach who I'm not really sold on. I know a lot of the Oklahoma people in here like their head coach because he's an Oklahoma alumnus. But I think their head coach was just a guy that they hired out of emotion. It was an emotional hire because he sat over there and wet his diaper and lost his bowels there on the sidelines like a spastic, crying and shit going on, man. It's one thing to cry, but it's another thing just to completely lose your mind and look like an emotional wreck, which he did, as well as, married Caleb Williams' fingernails. He's bad about losing his shit on the sidelines and his mama's lap and shit like that. One thing, like I said, in crying, another thing in heaving and going on like you about to have a seizure or some shit. All right. So that was the 8th best odds to win the national championship. Who's number 9? Number 9 is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame has the 10th best odds. Did I skip number 9? I think I did. We'll get back to number 9 in just a second. Notre Dame has the 10th best odds to win the national championship according to FanDuel and USA Today Sports. With a plus 2,200, will Notre Dame reach, let's say, 8-0 and then completely crumble down the stretch? Completely realistic given their history, and quarterback Sam Hartman and his beautiful mane have left after what was a one-year rental, giving way to former Duke quarterback Riley Leonard to make a name for himself with this historic program. So I guess Sam Hartman's gone. He was just like a one-year rental, like they said. I think Notre Dame may be a little high on this list. Just like LSU, I don't even know Notre Dame belongs in the top 15. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about this top 10 so far? Actually, I haven't given you the top 10. I've given you 9 of the top 10. I accidentally skipped one. Let's see who number 9 is. Number 9, with the 9th best chance to win the national title, is the Penn State Nittany Lions. They have a plus 2,200. Here we go again. Penn State has all the pieces it needs to compete in 2024, even with the expansion of the Big Ten. 10 wins is very reasonable. However, former 5-star quarterback Drew Allar needs to be much better in the pocket, while the late season meltdowns, now too common under head coach James Franklin, will continue to keep the fan base on edge. Yeah, I agree with that totally. Penn State's always a middling of the top 15 kind of team. They never can get over the Michigan and Ohio State hump. So until they can beat one of those two and eventually both, then nobody's going to take them seriously until they do, right? So, who has the 11th best? The 11th best odds are the Florida State Seminoles. FanDuel odds of plus 2,800. Journeyman quarterback DJ Uiagalelei departed Oregon State after just one season, but did show vast improvement in his once shaky skill set outside of an elite arm. Well, that arm talent has made its way to Florida State. So the DJ tour continues. I'm not sold on Florida State either. They had their one nice little breakout year. Don't be surprised if Florida State slips a little bit this year and maybe don't even make the top 20 as far as the poll goes. They may be a bottom of the tier, bottom top 25 team. They won't just completely melt down, but I could see them going 8-4 this year in the regular season. So, yeah. Who has the 12th best odds? The 12th best odds to win the national championship is the Clemson Tigers, according to FanDuel here. Clemson, where's the odds on here? Don't show them. But anyway, they're the 12th best. It says Clemson football head coach Dabo Swinney welcomes new students and tosses T-shirts of football into the crowd during the Clemson University Athletic Showcase portion of the new student, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what that has to do with the price in China, but anyway, they're number 12. Number 13 is the Tennessee Volunteers with Josh Heupel. That should make some of the Oklahoma people happy, even though we haven't called Oklahoma's name yet. Tennessee is interesting due to former 5-star blue chip quarterback Nico, I can't pronounce his last name, I'm gonna leave your ass. Taking over full time next season because if this kid hits his stride early, and most importantly, blah 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 blah. I've heard that 1,000 times, but their FanDuel odds are plus 13, plus 3,000. Excuse me. 14th best odds is those Missouri Tigers. Sort of surprised me with that one. Plus 3,500 outside of losing star running back Cody Schrader, quarterback Brady Cook, and stud wide receiver Luther Burden III. Should be enough for the Tigers to be in the thick of the playoff race, according to FanDuel odds and USA Today Sports. And the final one in the top 15 is the Texas A&M Aggies. I completely disagree with this. You let go of Jimbo Fisher, who had his moments, as much as people didn't like him. He's had his moments where he can win a lot of games. Won national title at Florida State. Won 10 or I think he went 11 or 12 games 1 year at Texas A&M. So I thought Texas A&M was a little high. As number 15, I probably would have stuck your Oklahoma Sooners in there at number 15. Because last year they were 7-5. Their FanDuel odds are plus 4,000. As I've said time and time again, this offseason, the offensive line holds up. A healthy starting quarterback, Connor Wegman should thrive in the new offensive philosophy at Texas A&M, according to the guy who wrote this. And that's your top 15. What do y'all think about that? We have old 56 timer in the house. He's one of our old school supporters, one of our VIP donors. He says, I'm here to help support OCF. Let's go, Boomer, and roll Tide. That's right. And if you want to get your comment pushed to the top, and if you have a question to me right now, I can't see all the comments right now, but if you want to get yours pushed to the top and you want me to answer your question, there's a little money dollar sign at the bottom with a circle or a square around it. Click on that. Write your comment out, then hit send so you get your money's worth. It'll highlight it, push it to the top, and I'll answer your question. Senator Rawls says Oklahoma is probably not on the list, and that's okay. Let them sneak up on everyone. Yeah, that's a good attitude to have about it, because until Oklahoma proves that they can win the late season games, I guess you could say. I don't know if you call it late season. Your 2-game dip was sort of in the middle of the season. But I just think, me personally, and I ain't saying this because Oklahoma people show me a lot of support in here, but me, honestly, I seriously would have put Oklahoma in over a couple of these teams. Notre Dame, LSU. LSU, to me, is way too high at number 6. They lost all that offensive all their offensive fireworks and their wide receivers and their Heisman Trophy quarterback. So I just don't know, man. And I have seen in the past where teams come together when all the star players are gone. It happened with Tennessee back in the days. After Peyton Manning graduated, Tennessee won a national title next year with a team of players that they didn't expect to win a national title with. Carvin OK says, cut my neck off and stuff boo-boo down my throat. Flat out disrespectful to OU. Yeah, it surprised me a little bit. What surprised me, Carvin, was not that Oklahoma wasn't in the top 15. It was a slight surprise, considering Oklahoma only lost, 3 games last year. And their last game they lost, a lot of their players had already left because nobody cares about them mid-card bowl games anymore. But they beat Texas, and they got Texas number 3. So I'm struggling myself to say, what the hell? Texas A&M, Notre Dame, LSU, those 3 teams to me are the teams I think didn't belong. And LSU definitely should have been a little bit lower. If they were going to have him in the top 15, LSU should have been bottom tier top 15, like 12th or 13th or some shit like that. Billy Bew says Oklahoma returned 79% of their defense, and they were top 10 in a lot of categories, just couldn't stop big plays. But the DBs are the strongest position now, in my opinion. 1989 M's in the house. He says it's the undeniable, undefeated, undisputed national, worldwide, universal heavyweight champion of YouTube podcasting. The OCF. Now, the other topics I want to talk about tonight is I saw this article today about more celebrity players, former players, think that they want to try the Deion Sanders, the con-time Deion Sanders approach to a career. The article that I was reading was about Tebow and Terrell Owens possibly becoming head coaches. But the one guy that really wants to be a head coach and follow the model, and this guy actually said he could do better than con-time Deion Sanders, and that's Ricky Williams, the former running back for the Miami Dolphins, college fame with the Texas Long Turds. He wants to be a head coach just like Deion Sanders. And now you got all these people talking about Tim Tebow and who else was it? Like Terrell Owens and players like that. And now you got Warren Sapp is like he's like a graduate assistant for Colorado and Deion. Man, I want these guys to land flat on their face so bad, man. What do y'all think about that, man? What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about all these celebrity players want to be head coaches? And then this guy that wrote the article was actually taking a dig at them. And he was saying that all these people are just, divas and attention whores. That they'll do anything to stay in the limelight and get attention. And I don't really believe that about Tim Tebow. But I can see that with Terrell Owens, definitely, and Ricky Williams. Terrell Owens especially is pretty much an attention whore. Him and Deion Sanders are cut from the same damn mold, in my opinion. And last year, they're using the excuse that, hey, Deion's getting this program in place. So we actually do have to give Time a pass in that he took a team with 1 win and took them to 4 wins. But, the reason why I don't give him a pass is because when they started off 3-0, oh, man, there was this damn just bomb rush of people just basically lubing up Deion, man. They probably, like I said, man, they probably invested in posters to put on the ceiling over the bed so they could peel their tater to some time Deion Sanders. And then it just went fizzle. And even Deion and his players were talking that smack about how they were going to go to BCS and all this other crap. And then they didn't win 1 game the rest of the year. It's because they hadn't played any teams that were really that great yet. And they got a harder schedule this year from what I've seen. So Deion might be struggling to get back to that 4-win plateau. My question is, if Deion only wins 3 games this year, if he falls just short of what he did last year, will people start talking about firing Deion Sanders? I don't know if they will or not, because they're so far in on Deion that now it just looks like they're losing face to them. But it's going to be an epic meltdown next year. If Deion Sanders don't reach that 4-win plateau again, they're going to be some people grilling the hell out of Time. John Rich is in the house. Hey, JPC, taking a break about my paper. Thought I would join in for a minute. I'm glad you're in here, John. Welcome to the show. Carvin OK says, Fred Bagley Brewer, you feel something is brewing in Sooner Country. David Wood says Deion likes Diddy's parties. Yep, you're probably right about that, David Wood. Fred Bagley says teams should hold off until they see how bad Time fails. Yeah, I think they should. But, Deion's a part of that whole mob mentality out there where, people are so hell-bent on pushing these liberal and morally corrupt agendas that they just jump on board as quickly as they can, Fred. And they don't care if they look like jackasses within just a few short years, which is fine with me, because then I'm going to really grill the shit out of them. Jeff Payton's in the house. He has his badge. Says, I'm late, but I'm here. We're going to have to give you a tardy for that, man, just like back in the days at Tuscaloosa County High School when you couldn't make it down that dip to class. You'd over there sneaking in the bathroom with them girls. That's what Jeff Payton was doing. My notes here. Also, speaking of Time, Deion Sanders, he was talking about how he doesn't like to have players that just come for the bag, players that just want to be here for the NIL money. Horseshit. I call horseshit, man. I call him. I call his hand right now, man. I'm calling him, because on his roster, he has 3 of the most highly valualized NIL players on his roster, and Travis Hunter and his 2 freaking sons. And he's not about the money? No, he's about the money, but only about the money being for him. He's what's wrong with sports. Time Deion Sanders talks out of both sides of his mouth. About both sides of his mouth, he's the biggest freaking hypocrite of all time. And it shows in how his sons act and play on the field. They act like complete jerks. And then he puts Travis Hunter out there and risks his health. His excuse would be, oh, Travis Hunter said he wanted to play. Yeah, but that's why you're the adult and you're the head coach, because you're supposed to know better, Dion. You're supposed to coach these guys, not be their best friend, not hang out at the strip bar with them in Boulder or wherever you go. Maybe Mork and Mindy go on an alien ship and y'all go to a damn strip bar in Fort Collins somewhere. I don't know. I can just imagine the shit they do after hours. Don Patterson's in the house. Colorado and Oklahoma would be a good game. I don't know about that. I don't know, man. In my opinion, I think Colorado's probably going to slip more this year. And I hope they do, too. And if Oklahoma were to play Colorado this year, I think Oklahoma wins that game by at least 2 or 3 scores. Don, that's just my opinion. OCF, we're all going to have so much fun on this channel this season. Oh, man, it's going to be insane, says 1989M, who is a fan of those defending national champions. You're defending national champions, those Michigan Wolverines from Ann Arbor. By the way, 1989M, I don't know if you was here on the show when I was doing the top 15 odds to win the national championship. Your team, Michigan, was number 8 as far as having the 8th best odds to win the national championship next year. Also, let's see what else we got here for y'all. Cam Newton's in the news again. Cam Newton. I hate Cam Newton. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. He stuck it to us pretty damn good here. Him and his little preacher daddy that took money and suddenly got a brand new church when Cam got here. Let me see if I can bring that article up for y'all. Basically, Cam's basically saying that he's not going to ever attend a Heisman Trophy ceremony like the former Heisman winners do because of certain reasoning pertaining to him and his father's crooked and shady ways that were called out by the Heisman people. See if we got it here. All right. I'm going to bring that up for y'all real quick. No, if this one's it or not. No, that's not it. Get to that one later. Here's one of them. Y'all see that? Cam Newton claims Dan Mullen and his bunny humping wife accused him of taking pay for play at Auburn. That happened. And I don't care what they say, man. Why would your daddy volunteer not to go to the national title game and not go to the Heisman Trophy ceremony if he hadn't done something, man? He done something. And the reason why I call Dan Mullen's wife a bunny humper is because she kisses all the players on the mouth, like right on the mouth. You don't do that, man. That's cringe, and it's sort of reeks of some damn Jeffrey Epstein shit in college football. But yeah, see if we can find that article for y'all. That one's not it either. There it is. The former Heisman winner said, see if y'all can see this real quick before I start. It's a little small, but I'll read it to y'all. The former Heisman winner said his father jumped on the grenade to allow him to play without blinking. I'll take it. Yeah, okay. Trying to make this man out to some hero and when they're lying. And right now, it'd probably be legal. But that's not the point. That's not the principle of the matter for those that are going to come in there and say that shit. Back then, it was against the rules. So everybody else didn't have that advantage, to go and pay Cam Newton like they did. They did have that advantage, but they didn't. Probably got outbid it. Without blinking, I'll take it, his daddy said. That was his father's mindset. I'll do it for my son. He's going to be eligible to play. I'm cool, he said. Then Newton revealed that he was told his father wasn't going to be allowed to go to the ceremony. And to this day, he has told the Heisman ceremony, they said, I think it's best not to show up for that. It's what they told Cam Newton's father. I take that personally. Well, no shit, it's your daddy. Of course you're going to take it personally. I remember winning the Heisman and stuttering. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be with my daddy. Well, damn. He sound like a daddy's boy version of damn Mary Caleb Williams' fingernails or some shit, don't he? Y'all believe that shit? He gonna try to play it like his daddy took one for the team. Your dad wouldn't lay down and take one for the team like that if he hadn't done something, man. And then they let him play in the national title game. When have you ever seen the NCAA work that quick to get a player eligible? The only reason they did that shit is for eyeballs on TVs and money in their pockets. Had Cam Newton just been a regular Smo Joe player, they would have suspended him and they would have drug their feet until the next following season. Cam Newton shouldn't have played in the Alabama game, and he shouldn't have played in the SEC title game, and he shouldn't have played in the national title game. It changed the whole outcome of the season. Oh, one player can't do that. Yes, they can. In college football, they absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, unequivocally, can change the outcome of a game. Even in the pro game, to some degree, they can. So, yeah, I just said that, Carvin. You not hear what I said? I said, yeah, it's a reality now. But that's not the point. The point is, back then, it was against the rules, which means that Auburn had an unfair advantage by doing what they did and giving money to his spastic preacher, hypocritical daddy to buy him a new church. Man had like just a raggedy old church, and all of a sudden, it's boom, all this shit blows up, man. Right after Cam Newton goes to play for Auburn. Come on, man. We all know that's a bunch of horse shit. Cam's also a thief, by the way. He first started out with the Florida Gators, and he stole a laptop down there and ended up transferring to a junior college. If he had been any other player but Cam Newton, his ass would have been suspended and put in jail and all sorts of shit. But that's the problem I have. And I love college football. I love sports. But these athletes and these players, man, they have this thing about them, just like politicians do, that they think they're above the law. Because they're good at certain careers, that automatically makes it okay for them to mistreat the rest of society and to mistreat just common Joes and common Sallys because they're famous. Yeah, I know. I know what you said. I'm saying, yeah, I knew that y'all was going to say that. But it was and isn't and wasn't a reality back then, what I'm trying to say. So it wasn't all right. People would say that, what you just said, to say, oh, man, that's okay, man. We should go back and just not worry about that. And we should give Reggie Bush back his Heisman Trophy and all this other horse shit. 1989 M says, OCF boy, this fall outlaw posse rolling out and raiding the comment section, putting these comment on blast. Enough is enough. Enough is enough, man. By the way, I do have a political channel now. I've done 3 or 4 videos over there. I haven't done one in about a week or 2, so I need to get back over there and get my lazy ass to it. But it's called Real American Party, if y'all want to check that out. Also, if you want to get your comment pushed to the top, if you want to make a donation to the program to help keep these beautiful lights on, there's a little money dollar sign at the bottom of this right now that you can click on. Write your comment out. After you click on it, then click it a second time. Your comment will be highlighted, pushed to the top. You'll make a donation to the program, which will be highly appreciated, and I'll read your comment above the others. Also, in spring football, Urban Meyer has made himself known. I'm going to pull that up for y'all real quick. It's not really that big of a deal. I just thought it was odd that Urban Meyer made himself opinionated on this matter, like it was a big deal or something. There it is. All right, it says former Ohio State coach Urban Meyer, who spoke at OU's coaches clinic on Thursday, addressed the challenging facings. These people can't type, man. Facing coaches and navigating the competitive spring practice with the transfer window looming, which is April the 16th through April the 30th, by the way. Another transfer portal window. Damn, man, how many of these they got? Another thing, and it affected my team and a few others this year. If you're going to open up the transfer portal on one team, then you know open it up on everybody. During Saturday's telecast of Ohio State's spring game, Meyer said Oregon has yellow, green, and white personnel groups this spring, rather than first, second, and third string teams, because they're worried about losing guys to the transfer portal. So, not sure why Urban Meyer said that. I don't know what to read into that and why he just sporadically said that. Man, it's just so random and left field. I know it was at the OU, or not OU, the UO coaches clinic, but that didn't sound very, to me, complimentary. But in a way, it is complimentary because actually it's smart that Dan Lanning done that. Don't assign first, second, and third string and just assign colors of your team. And that way you don't have people assuming that they're third string and so second or first string. And it keeps them somewhat engaged and trying to, basically compete for something instead of running out and quitting and tapping out like a little queenie and running to the next program, the next program, the next program, the next program. I think Oklahoma's got a guy on their team right now who's a quarterback that's on his fourth team. They're going to have to do something about that, man. They're going to have to change the rules on that shit. I talk about this all the time, but that's why I'm all for the NFL Super League they're talking about. They're talking about coming in, taking the top 70 teams and having 10 teams that can earn their way in, sort of like the whole soccer thing that they do. Not a big soccer fan, but the way they do that is pretty interesting. I actually like the way the soccer leagues do that. But yeah, lost my train of thought. But it's just going to be a mess, man. They don't get this under control really, really fast. But you just got to keep these players engaged now, man. And the NFL can come in as their Super League, as I said. That's what I was getting to. If the NFL comes in and makes this a Super League of 70 or 80 teams, then they can start instituting some rules to sort of curb these very shady-ass agents and relatives. Most of the relatives putting this little thought in their head, living vicariously through their son or daughter and basically hurting them. They said that Caleb Williams done made $10 million in his time at USC. So why should he even play pro sports? Why should he care if he even gets drafted if he made $10 million? I know a lot of that gets taken up by people you have to pay, your agents and lawyers and yada, yada, yada. But still, that's a lot of damn money to have made and you not even played one down of NFL football. If the NFL comes in here and takes this thing over and makes it a Super League, then they can institute some real rules. They can tell these players, hey, you sign with this team and we pay you, you're going to stay with this team at least 3 years or 2 years, whatever. Ain't going to be none of this shit jumping around once a year. Now, some of them's jumping around in the middle of the year. Alabama had a player, Caden Proctor, who left and went to Iowa. And then 2 months later, he's coming back to Alabama. And that's benefiting my team. And I'm saying that shit's not cool. If I was Alabama, I would say, no, man. We sort of need you, but not that bad. You can stay in Iowa, man. None of this flip-flopping shit every 2 or 3 months, man. That's a bunch of crap. And if the NFL comes in and takes over, they'll stop that shit. And then, on top of that, the NFL will probably make it illegal for teams to tamper. Iowa was tampering with Caden Proctor while he was playing for Alabama outside of the transfer portal window. Just like some other little nefarious jackass that I've talked about quite profusely. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Low Linky boy. Tebow. The acronym that Oklahoma fans give him. TBOW. Not Tim Tebow. TBOW. The bitch out west, Lincoln Riley, did the same shit that Iowa did to Alabama. He tampered with the Oklahoma roster while he was still employed at Oklahoma outside of the transfer portal window. Same thing for Deion Sanders. He slipped up and said that he had talked to some kids outside of the transfer portal window. Have they done anything about it? No, because he fits their narrative, and all the libtard and minorities that are going to get their panties up in flames because someone's actually having to make someone go by the rules that everybody has to abide by. Shouldn't matter what race you are. Shouldn't matter what religion you are, what team you're on, your celebrity status, your political status. Everybody should have to play by the same rules, but they don't. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir and I'm stating the obvious, and probably nothing ever going to be done about it, but that's just me being on the soapbox. That's right. Playtime is over. They've been playing. I ain't gonna play with these people no more. 1989, and we're gonna start laying a smack it down on their candy ass, like The Rock would have said. By the way, we just had WrestleMania. It was pretty good. Cody Rhodes got to finish his story. If anybody wants to expound on some wrestling stuff, what do y'all think about Cody Rhodes? Do you like him finishing his story? Sort of back and forth on that. Everybody thought that Stone Cold was gonna come out and help him, and ended up being the Undertaker instead, which was. It sort of caught me off guard. I ain't gonna lie, man. They usually don't catch me off guard like that. Everybody knew John Cena was gonna come out, and then it was supposed to be Stone Cold. From what I hear, Stone Cold was supposed to be the guy to come in, but he backed out the last minute over some financial disagreements with WWE, and ended up going with the Undertaker. Jeff Payton says, "Hey JPC, where are your brothers, Killer Breeze and Big Cojones Kelly at?" I don't know, brother. I don't know. Killer Breeze is probably in an RV park outside walking his damn poodle or whatever that dog is. And Big Cojones Kelly is likely sucking the head off of crawfish because he likes sucking head off of things. So that's probably where they at. And he's an LSU guy. Not LSU people, man. Never can tell what they're going to do in the offseason. If you don't keep their mind focused on something, man, them bayou buttholes, man, they're going to be up to no good. David Wood said it best. This is a generation of puddings. That's correct. Billy, am I saying your last name right? Billy Bew. Billy Bew says Bear Alexander's been on 7 since beginning of high school, I think. 7 what? Teams? $7 million? What's he been on? Thunder OU Center says they should have given the same penalty to Auburn like they did USC and Reggie Bush. That's true. That is true. Now, someone said something earlier in here when I first started at it and actually started to show you. I think it's Baby DJ said that the Sooners softball team was looking a little sporadic. I was giving y'all hell a week ago about losing 2 out of 3 to the Texas Long Turds, and I was just playing around being sarcastic. But then y'all turned around and lost to BYU 9-4. Damn. Y'all are slipping a little bit. Y'all lost the damn BYU harems up there. They got a bunch of women up there. They say they don't do that no more, but how they get around that is they marry one of them, and then the other 4 or 5 women that they want to be their wife, they just have them live with them. Have them be concubines and shit, right? I'm going to get in trouble with Mormons now. Cam Newton still has Orange Crush nightmares. This says Lance Flores. That's right, he does, man. Nobody's ever going to forget that ball being there. And he could have got it. He could have recovered that ball and maybe saved the game. But no, what did he do? This wasn't just like a regular season game. This was the freaking Super Bowl. Here goes Cam Newton. Get the ball. No, I don't want the ball. I don't want it. No, I don't want it. That was Cam Newton. And then when he got called out on that shit after the game, what did he do? Pouted and left and didn't answer any questions. What should have happened there? He should have been fined millions of dollars. because you're supposed to have to stay and answer those questions like a man. But we all know he's not a man. He's probably somewhere along the lines of somewhere like Dennis Rodman, some kind of transgender bullshit. I'm just actually playing Thunder OU Center. Says I don't know what's going on with the OU softball girls. I don't either. I mean, now losing to BYU 9-4, that I ain't gonna lie, that is sort of surprising. Now losing to Texas, that didn't really catch me off guard. Louisiana, they're a decent team in softball, but losing to BYU did catch me off guard. I don't know if I don't know how good BYU is. I haven't looked at the record. See what else we got here. Oh, where'd it go? Had some players for your Oklahoma Sooners. I've been informed by USA Today Sports and their transfer portal watch list for each team. Figured y'all might find this interesting since we have some Oklahoma Sooners in here. Nick Anderson, wide receiver. Javante Barnes, running back. Makari Vickers, defensive back. Michael Hawkins, quarterback for Oklahoma. And Peyton Bowen, defensive back for Oklahoma, have said to be rumored to be thinking about entering the transfer portal on April 16th. Y'all know anything about those 5 players possibly entering the transfer portal for Oklahoma? Just curious, because they're the ones talking about it, not me, so don't kill the messenger. I mean, I was sort of surprised to see some of these on the list. Peyton Bowen and Michael Hawkins, the last 2, sort of surprised me. Nick Anderson made that winning touchdown grab against Texas. We think he want to stay because of that, but Alabama's Isaiah Bond, who made the winning catch against Auburn, he left and went to Texas. Maybe Nick Anderson gonna leave and go to Texas too. What do y'all think about that? Well, I think that's all I got today for y'all. Y'all got any questions for me before we close this party down? Got, what is it now? 2, 3, 4, 5. Today's April, May, June, July, August. Got 4 months to go, man. I don't know, man. It's going to be hard to go 4 more months without college football. Now, the college football magazines I love. I collect Athens. I got all the Athens football magazines all the way back to 1981 in my closet in there. So when those magazines come out, that'll help a little bit. That'll help wet our taste buds a little bit. I always like the Athens. What's y'all's favorite magazine? What's y'all's go-to college football magazine? Fred said, that's bullshit. I ain't heard anything like that. Billy Bew says, well, the Peyton Bowen's brother's a true freshman at OU. Now they want to play together. I hope you're right. What's up? Zach Cameron's in the house. Turd Ferguson's in the house as well. He says Athens. Yeah, Athens is my go-to. I love Athens. I used to get one called Pigskin. Can't remember the name of it. Pigskin Gridiron or something. It's called Pigskin something. And they do a little thing about each team and what their chances were about beating each other. You can do it about some kind of numbers they had, sort of like Streets and Smiths. And I like Lindy's all right, too. Lindy's has gotten better over the years. Jeff Payton goes with Athlon as well. Well, all right, guys and gals. I hadn't talked to y'all in a while, so I just want to get in here and shout out at y'all and tell y'all I hadn't forgot about y'all. I hope y'all hadn't forgot about me. Y'all got any suggestions on topics or live streams, just hit me up on Twitter, aka X, at OCF Productions. You can also hit me up on Messenger under Jesse Paul Clark on Facebook, spelled Jesse without the I. Y'all can give me some suggestions. And one of y'all want to be on the show with me or something, let me know that too, so I can give y'all an invite in advance. All right, brothers and sisters, KMCA to all the other teams, class is now officially dismissed.